Welcome to the Power Portals of Avalon. And this is one of our final actual portal places that I'm going to be sharing with you. I've been sharing so many videos in honor of the Tablets of Light Avalon. Yes, indeed, Egypt, Tablets of Light Egypt has indeed birthed its counterpart. Or rather, maybe Avalon birthed Egypt. I mean, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? That's for you to decide. But I am going to be holding a group from the 5th to the 15th of August, which is specifically for the priestesses. But in the future, the Grail Knights, calling you in, guys, calling you in. Grail Knights and Grail Maidens will be walking together. But just this year for 2025, in the honor of Lionsgate Portal, we are going to be in Avalon to do some very, very big work, very layered, very powerful. And it's a reclamation, celebration of this divine feminine coming in and landing. And that is what we're going to be doing at these power portals of Avalon and PowerPoints. So I want to share with you my story of my experience with this divine sacred place behind me. This is indeed known as, if you look at textbooks, St. Margaret's Chapel, but it's known as St. Mary's Chapel, meaning Mary Magdalene. It is a beautifully quaint, sacred little chapel, which is right in the center of Glastonbury, which is the modern name for Avalon, and that's in the UK. Now, this used to be a hospital, so of course the energy, if you want to equate the energy of this portal, it is actually about nurturing, support, the mothers, love, all of the things, and because, like I say, it has a powerful presence of the divine feminine, but it was indeed a hospital as well. You can feel that as soon as you walk in. It's a very, very small place, but really, really powerful. And I want to first of all go into my first point to share with you about the Mary Magdalene energies and teachings, okay? Hidden in plain sight. This is what she always speaks of. Now, back in the ancient times, okay, Mary Magdalene was, and all of the divine feminine work was pretty much wiped from history, right? They kept it on the down low, which is now we're going through this massive rise of divine feminine energy and a reclamation of that. So even back in the day, of course, the churches, if you look at the arches, they're kind of like that, okay? And they have like a rosetta, like a rose at the top. And that was the design of all of the archways, sacred archways in the churches. That is actually in representation, symbology of the yoni, right? Which is the divine feminine, okay? So, of course, she is hidden in plain sight. Even in certain pictures, paintings that were done, there would be like a double M, and you had to look for it, but she was hidden in plain sight. So this is the thing, very, very clever. Did she ever disappear, though? Did she ever disappear? So this is definitely one of those places hidden in plain sight, because when I first went to Glastonbury, aka Avalon, I searched for this place, and it's down a little back alley, and if you walk on the pavement, you'll be sure to miss it. So it actually took me a few goes to find this place, and then eventually I found this place down this little back alley. You would never think that this was there. You go down the alley and you're met with this beautiful medieval big door, and it's like going back in time. And then as you walk in, this is obviously the outside of the chapel, and that door there takes you straight into here. So when you walk through there, this is what you walk into, small chapel. And let me move to the side so you can see. It's a beautiful picture of Mary Magdalene. And here's your offerings for your candles here. And it's just so sacred and quiet. So the energy you're going to receive here is very, very powerfully charged with the divine mothers, but definitely Mary Magdalene. So I want to share with you just a story or two as to what happened to me when I came here. And there are so many stories, but maybe I just give you the one, because you really, really, really will experience exactly the same thing when you come to Avalon, because it's magic personified. It's like an amplification of the divine feminine love that, you go there and you step through the mists of Avalon and you're in that portal. It's undeniable. Even hugging a tree in Avalon, okay, will activate your tree magic. That's how just like how mystical and magical this place is. That's what happened to me. I actually just went up and hugged a big oak tree, got this massive jolt of energy, and then realized when I came home to walk in the forest here in Cape Town, I had this vibration and this sound. I was hearing the trees speak, and I was like, what? And I felt that magic activate within me. And that's just as simple as sitting up against a powerful oak tree, which is thousands of years old, just in Avalon. I mean, that's what awaits you, basically. So I was on a 9-day pilgrimage, okay, and this place was my absolute savior, or rather, Mary Magdalene was. Now, I had just been to Egypt and had held a tour, and it's very, very intense fire energy there. And I made it very clear that I was going to come back from Egypt and come straight to Avalon and really immerse myself in the waters to rest and rejuvenate rejuvenate, because holding and teaching there in the temples, it's a bit of a big damn deal. So you need that time to come and just, you know, recuperate. So I came here. Now I hopped and skipped, and I was like 9 days in Avalon on my own with no one. I was like, this is going to be great. So day 1, day 2, yeah, okay. Now I'm hop skipping about and I can feel energy starting to build up. Now, any of you that go on transformational tours or hold them or whatever, you know, okay, you know, it's signature and classic that by day 3, day 4, your shit starts to fall apart just a little bit. And I started to tweak out, and I was like, oh my God, trying to like tell myself I'm having a great time, and I'm like not having a great time. I can feel something coming up inside of me, and it started to really scramble and discombobulate discombobulate my whole being. And I was like, what am I even doing here? And it was like this vibration of just like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing here. I couldn't meditate, I couldn't settle, and I just wanted to go home. And I started to feel really emotional and lost and so lonely. So I was like, well, I don't know where to come. I'd already been here on my trip. And then I came here for a second time. So I walked in and I sat in that very spot right there. Right there. I walked in, I lit my candle, and I said to Mother Mary, and I said to Mary Magdalene, I don't know what I'm doing here. I was very childlike, snot and tears. Honestly, it was a real display. And I could hear people coming in and out. And usually I'm very polite and saying, okay, you can go and give your candle. I was just sat there, a hot mess, letting it all just like unfold. And I was like, you gotta help me. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just lost. And I was traumatized. I was really traumatized. And then I heard this big, powerful voice say, go next door. And I was like, next door? So I assumed next door was like to one of these rooms, which is one of the hospital rooms, as it were. Go next door? Why do I want to do that? So I sat there trying to meditate. Get up was the next message. Get up. Go next door. So I was like, so I stood up and I was like, okay. And like tears. I remember that walking out and the lady just like squeezing my shoulder because she was just nodding, going, yeah, that kind of happens when you come here. So I left, and then I realized, next door, like right next door, there is a beautiful place, a healing place called the Goddess House, right? A lot of you might know it because it's very well known. It's the epicenter of Avalon, right? So I go in there and I literally bust through the doors. Now, I'm not one to lose my composure in public, but I was now snot and tears. I was crying. My wheels were coming off big time. I literally burst through the doors in this house, fell through into reception. This lady was working on her computer. She looked up and I said, you got to help me. It was like a scene out of Pretty Woman. You know that scene where she comes and she's got all this money. She's like, I got money. I got money. And you're just like throwing it. Fix me. And she just stood up and she said, it's okay. I even get emotional now when I tell these stories because I remember it so clearly. It's okay. She didn't even ask me what healing I needed. She says, we'll take care of it. And she booked me in and she got me a healing every single day. So every single day, okay, I turned up at that place. My first one was to work with a beautiful lady called Iona, who is actually now coming to join me with her magic on this Tablets of Light Avalon group, you know, so you will meet us together. And what a beautiful introduction. Turns out she's really connected to Egypt and everything like that. So I lay on the bed, Sekhmet came in. It was just such a safe space. So I had some body work done then. And then I worked with Kaya, who was the beautiful goddess that kind of received me at the door in almost snot and tears. And she gave me the most amazing star reading. And they just embraced me in. It was like the sisterhood coming home, right? And I mean, like, look, listen, let's just not keep it to the women, like the lads out there. If you're feeling that, oh my God, if you want to really tap into your intuitive side and heal that divine feminine, take yourself to Avalon, you know? And that's what happened. So they basically embraced me in it. And do you know what the biggest lesson of all of this was that I was able to let go of my control, able to let go of like, Marie's got this because I've always got it for everyone else. That wasn't what this trip was about. And Mary Magdalene made that very clear. This is about you surrendering and softening so you can receive the love that you need, because you can't take care of yourself all the time, because if you are, then that's control. So that's what happened. And that was the absolute turnabout on that 9-day pilgrimage. All of a sudden, that 9 days all of a sudden became not long enough for me. First of all, I was like, holy moly, how am I going to complete 9 days? Now all of a sudden there's not enough time. I need longer here. And that's what it turned into. And then I hop, skipped and jumped my way all the way through Avalon. I was up at the tour at 4 a.m. I was in Avebury giving like offerings to the trees, to the stones, and I was on my own and I was having the best time. And I remember having this massive sense of peace and wholeness and going, I'm really happy on my own. Not because I was excluding myself or channeling my inner hermit. I was wholesome and I was independent in a very, very sacred way. And I was happy to be with people, but I was really happy to be on my own. And that is what I think was missing, you know? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is true healing, right? That is the softness that we need over beyond the transformative fires to be able to come into the gentleness of our waters, to be able to get that balance, right? Because there are times when we need to be around people. There's times to be still. There's time to take action. There's times to lie down, you know, and knowing, having that discernment. I didn't have that discernment. And then this is what Avalon showed me on that trip. And that's when the tablets of light Avalon, I was like, right, now it's time. I'm sharing this portal and it's now going to be shared ongoing. This is also a place of my birth as well. So I was like, you know, no brainer. But this is exactly what it was all about. But you know what? Let's not get it twisted. Everybody has a different experience with this. And you will come back to places like this, like you will with Egypt. I would say to people, come back again and again and again, because it amplifies, right? And when I first came here, deep memory and loss. I had to clear out the way of when Yeshua died on the cross. A lot of us walked with Yeshua and we came to Avalon for respite and rejuvenation and healing, because that's where we went, a lot of us. So when I came to this chapel and I turned up, I wanted to get the hell out of there. I was like, no, I don't want to be here. So whatever memories I had, I definitely know it was connected to the Essenes. I definitely know that it was walking with the disciples. And I definitely know that it was after Yeshua's passing. And that needed to be navigated, that loss and that sadness and that loneliness. And I did that in here. So this, even though it's a small chapel hidden in plain sight, is probably the most poignant, potent time of change in my healing of coming home. So this is St. Mary's Chapel, okay, or St. Margaret's Chapel, but known as St. Mary's Chapel. And for those that feel calling out to my priestesses, my Grail maidens, if you wish to join me in Avalon, we have 3 spaces left, and we ride in August for the Lion's Gate. So thank you for receiving my story time, my storytelling. Till the next video.